Opportunities do not just happen, you create them. This powerful quote perfectly encapsulates the essence of our gathering today. Greetings everyone, I'm Sreha, a volunteer from our beloved team, Team Metamorph, at the NIT Hamirpur Fest, Nimbus. Today, we have fortunate to host the esteemed Vinayak Shrote sir. Now, without further ado, I would like to pass the stage to my co-host Shivam to provide a detailed introduction of our distinguished guest.
Greetings, I'm Shivam, executive of Team Metamorph. Today, we are honored to welcome our co-founder, Vinayak Shrote sir, an exceptional alumnus of NIT Hamirpur. He graduated in Material Science and Engineering. Later, he did his master's from University of California, Los Angeles. Despite reservations surrounding our branch in India, Vinayak sir took it further and aced it. He possessed a diverse skill set excelling in deposition tech, device characterization, and nanomaterials. Vinayak sir's remarkable leadership, evident in founding a pioneering team during his undergrad days, and his vision and passion as a founding member of our core team makes this conversation truly special. Today's meeting, where our new CC greets our esteemed ex founder, is a beautiful coincidence, intertwining past and present in our team's narrative. Now, I would like to call our core coordinator, Team Metamorph, to greet our guest and continue the legacy of, with a touch of their own flair.
Thanks, Shivam. Greetings, everyone. I am Priyanshu Sagar, current CC of Team Metamorph. On behalf of our team, I like to extend warm welcome to all of you to this event. It's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Vinayak Srivastava sir to this stage. Thank you so much, sir, for gracing us with your presence. Now, we will begin with our conversation.
Thank you, sir. I am Rohit Patel, executive of Team Metamorph. Now, I would like to begin with the conversations. Sir, as a co-founder of Team Metamorph, what inspired you to start the team?
Right. Okay. Now, first of all, I'd like to really thank you guys for inviting me for this talk. So Nimbus is something that I've really worked on a lot in back in my undergrad days. As co-founder and CC, previous CC of Metamorph, and then when I worked as the departmental club secretary during my final year. So I'm really glad to see everyone back, and happy to know that the team is doing really well and trying to do loads of really great work for this technical fest of this year. So yeah, regarding your question, right, what inspired me to create Team Metamorph? First of all, it's not just me. It's not just one person who created Metamorph. This was a collective effort which involved the entire batch of 2017 to 21, in of which I was a part in. So we decided to create a departmental team, a materials engineering departmental team for NIT Hamirpur, and it was really a collective effort. So I have to really give a big thanks, and uh, I have to really dedicate some appreciation for the other people in my department who also contributed a lot for this endeavor. The primary reason why we decided to create Team Metamorph was because during that time in 2017, when we just arrived at the institute as freshman people, we observed that since the department of MSc is a relatively new department, there was a lot of things that the department had to come to terms with when we look at other departments. So we did see that other established departments, which were there for quite a while, they already had a lot of technical teams and technical societies that used to represent those departments at various institute and national levels. Like uh, if we just look at Nimbus, you have each department has its own departmental team, and a technical society as well, which carries the name of the department and which carries the name of the department. So we did think that since we were a new department, as far as undergraduate programs were concerned, there would be a feeling of there would be a state of underrepresentation for our department. We wanted to remove this feeling of underrepresentation that some of us may feel, and what some of our future juniors may also feel when they arrive into the institute and uh, find out that the department is new. So with that initiative in mind, we decided to create a departmental team that can really promote the field of material science within the NIT Hamirpur campus. And we really wanted to try to make ourselves be at the same arrive at the same level of representation as the other departments. And we also wanted to create a new medium through which our future juniors could also take part in these technical activities, you know. If you just look at material science and if you just look at compare it with the other departments that exist, uh, we didn't want any of our future people in our program to not be able uh, to to show their technical prowess. So with that in mind, with keeping that in mind, we decided to create this new team to just to carry on the name of material science forward.
Thank you, sir, for creating this team and providing us opportunity to participate in Nimbus. So now I would like to ask second question. So as an experienced professional, what advice would you give to students or recent graduates regarding networking and navigating early career stages?
Oh, yeah, good question, Priyanshu. So, I think in the current world, like as looking at the current state of things, I think networking on a professional scale is very important. Nowadays, if you just look at the current trend, both in India as well as outside the world, if you need to get into a good, if you want to land your first job, aside from aside from entering creating job applications, it's also important to know the people who are already working in these different companies or the different institutions that you are interested in joining. So in that with that in mind, I would say that networking is very important. And there are a lot of ways in which you can build a strong, sturdy network of people. Of course, you all know we all have LinkedIn these days, so you can always go on LinkedIn and connect with people. That's the general approach, right? But there are other things that you can also do. As far as so I did my graduation from UCLA, right? So my perspective is based on the stuff that happens in graduate universities abroad. There are a lot of social events or professional events that each of these graduate institutions organizes. So if you look at just the United States, for example, many universities have these career fairs. In these career fairs, companies participate and try to promote their teams and the stuff they're working on. And through these career fairs, students can talk in person with the company representatives as well as the students who are attending these career fairs. And in the process, they not only are able to get their applications across, but they're also able to build some solid connection with the employee of that company. Yeah, there are other social events that are carried out in these foreign institutions. Social events where people can just mingle around and make new friends. I would say those social events are also really good. They provide a really good platform for creating, for conducting the networking process. So there are a lot of ways you can build networking, but the main method is basically just try to establish a line of communication with the person that you're interested to work with and get to know. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So, as you are student in USA, so sir, what is the application process to apply for grad schools abroad, and how can students manage costs? As studying abroad is very expensive.
Mhm. Oh yeah, good question. So one thing you have to know is applications. I can speak for with respect to US universities. All right. So as far as US universities are concerned, the application process is pretty straightforward, I must say, but it will take a lot of your time and effort because there are a lot of factors you need to consider in mind. And if you just look at the entire timeline of the application process, it can take anywhere between 8 months to 12 months. So if you want to stay on the safe side, I would really recommend that you try to apply at least 11 or 12 months, so almost a year before these universities close their application deadlines. So as far as the application process goes, there are a lot of stuff you need to, there are a lot of things that you need to consider. So if you look at the scenario in India, it's pretty straightforward. If someone wants to, if a student wants to pursue higher studies, they know that they have to just give an exam, which is the gate, and or if they're interested in management, they have to give the CAT exam and so on, right? And the reputed universities in India are already established. You have IITs and IIMs, which are the first preference for students, and then you have the NITs and so on. In the United States, things work a little differently because the United States has a lot of different universities as well as single institutions. And really, the thing to consider is that just because a university in the US is ranked amongst the top, does not always mean that you should uh, consider that as the first priority. There are a lot of universities in the US uh, which have a department specific ranking. In those instances, suppose a university in the US is ranked in the top 50s, right? But the program that you're interested to apply in may not be so highly ranked. If you just take, for example, John Hopkins University, John Hopkins University has a really strong medical program, which is why it's really lucrative for people who want to pursue medicine. But it's engineering. There are other universities which have a more favorable engineering program. So if you're a person who graduated with a degree in engineering and who wants to pursue his higher studies in engineering, you want to look at the specific ranking of the school rather than the overall ranking of the university. Of course, the overall ranking also should be considered, but you also should not neglect how well your own school of engineering, the program you're interested in applying to, where does that program stand on a global scale? So that's just one step of the process. If you want to, if you're asking about the application process, right? The first step is obviously trying to shortlist the universities that you are interested to apply to. Uh, there are a lot of factors that you should consider when you're shortlisting the university, and it's not just a ranking of the university that you should consider. There are other things like the kind of research that the department of that university is conducting, and whether that research aligns with your own research interests. That's one thing to consider. Another thing to consider is the location of that university. There are universities which are located in states which have a lower cost of living as opposed to states like California, which have a higher cost of living. So if you want to save your expenses, that's one way you can do. Other things that you need to consider are basically they want you to show these universities, at least the universities which are ranked at the top. Many of them, when they want you to submit an application, they don't want they don't want you to tell them like what grade did you get, what's your overall GPA, or how many research papers did you publish, or how many projects you did. They just want, when they review a student's eligibility for admission in that university, the one thing that they want to ask you is uh, what is it that you have that stands apart from other students. So that's really the kind of mindset that you need to have when you're trying to apply to these universities and trying to convince them why you are why they should take you in, right? So uh, try to uh, if you these universities look at the holistic profile of a student. So and what they're really looking for is something unique, something that's different from the rest of the people, and how you could use that to improve the resources of the university. So that's really something that you should include in your statement of purpose. The statement of purpose is one of the most critical applications that these universities require. It's an application where you try to convince the university why you are a good fit for the school. So that's something you need to look at. And all these different uh, application steps can be easily found on the university's website. So you really don't need to. It seems like a very Herculean effort in the beginning, trying to shortlist all the universities that you want to be a part of, and then trying to prepare your documents and your application material. But once you get started and once you start doing the necessary research, it doesn't look that daunting of a task. Now, as far as the reducing the cost expenses is concerned, there are actually a lot of ways that you can do that. Every international student that makes their way into a foreign university wants to find a way to reduce their tuition and living expenses, because in the United States, education is an expensive financial investment, not just for the international students, but even for their own national citizens as well. So the first thing that you want to do is obviously, when you're trying to shortlist your universities, try to find reputed universities in states which have a lower cost of living. For example, if you look at University of California, Los Angeles, the same university where I graduated from, it's located in Los Angeles, California, which has a very high cost of living when compared to the national average. But you also have Carnegie Mellon University, which is located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Now, the cost of living in Pennsylvania is significantly lower than the cost of living in California. So, if you're someone who wants to reduce their expenses based on that, then you can always consider universities which are in those other states which have a lower cost of living. Um, Other things that you can do is try to look for teaching assistantship opportunities within your university. We call them TAs in the US. So a TA is basically an assistantship position in which you assist the professor in his coursework. And these teaching assistantship positions give you a really good stipend, and in addition to that, they also give you a lot of benefits, such as reduced tuition expenses and a refund on your tuition payment. As far as UCLA is concerned, if you are a teaching assistant at UCLA, they they waive your tuition fee entirely. So that's a very good thing. That's a very good initiative that UCLA is currently offering. For if you're paying $33,000 for one semester, you get more than 50% or close to 75% of that amount back if you are a teaching assistantship, and on top if you're a teaching assistant, and on top of that you get a monthly stipend as well to cover your living expenses. So that's one way that the students can actually look at. And even if you don't get these TA positions, because these TA positions can be really competitive at times, because you have a lot of international students who want to get a TA, but you have fewer TA positions in the university itself. But even then, you can find ways to reduce your financial impact. There are a lot of part-time jobs that each university would offer within its campus. And if you're on a student visa in the US, you can use that visa to secure a part-time job within the university itself. And that will give you and they will pay you a weekly stipend, you know. There are a lot of part-time jobs that you can take in different universities. You can work at these universities have cafes and libraries and fast food restaurants, and many of these are actually operated by the students themselves. If you take UCLA, for example, there is a students union at UCLA which actually does this kind of thing. It's managed entirely by the students, and it really uh, helps a student secure an employment in these part-time job positions. So yeah, these are just a few ways that you can use to offset your expenses, and this is accessible to every international student. So if you're someone who's interested to go abroad and study abroad, but is concerned with the finances, then maybe this piece of information can help you uh, get relieved of that concern, because it really is possible to offset your expenses and reduce them once you come in. But you just need to do some form of research to find out what kind of opportunities are there for you to lower your expenses. Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for insightful information. Sir, many people confuse between studying in India versus studying in abroad. So, like, what is the advantages and disadvantages of studying in abroad and studying in India?
Right. So, if you ask for my opinion, if you want to if you want to pursue a master's degree within India at one of the premier institutions like IITs, you should definitely do that, because if you look at the global ranking, these Indian Institutes of Technology and Indian Institute of Science are actually really well ranked on a global scale. They may not be in the top 50 in the global scale, but you may agree that they are. It's without a doubt that they are pretty well ranked on a global scale compared to universities in other countries. So if you want to pursue a master's in India at one of these premier institutions, then definitely go for it. One reason why individuals would want to pursue a master's degree in India rather than abroad would be the primary reason would be the expenses, because really uh, education in the United States, and for that matter, anywhere, almost anywhere across the globe, is actually a very expensive endeavor. It carries a very high, big financial investment, as opposed to uh, pursuing a higher studies degree in India itself. So, if you're someone who's concerned about the financial investment, then definitely go for the institutions in India. They have the kind of resources that you need. They're not short on resources. I did an internship from the Indian Institute of Science in the Materials Engineering department, and I can say that they are not short of any resources for you to leverage your graduate experience. Uh, but keeping having that in mind, I would say pursuing a graduate degree in the United States has its own benefits, and the benefits are tremendous. Um, of course, it's a big financial investment, like you all know, but there are a lot of benefits with studying abroad. Perhaps the most important benefit is that you get to lead a life of higher. You get to become more independent in life. So I would say that's one of the big significant aspects about pursuing a graduate degree abroad. You gain a level of independence um, when you take on the graduate experience, and that really helps you to navigate around the world really well. And aside from that, of course, if you get into a good graduate university abroad, then you get to really utilize the resources that they have, um, and you can actually also utilize the quality of the program. Um, top universities in the United States have really good graduate education programs, you which a lot of international students can leverage uh, and further their careers as a result. So I would say that pursuing a grad degree abroad has its own set of advantages, and another big advantage is if you want to secure a job just after your master's degree abroad, um, companies really recognize if someone has earned a master's degree in a reputed university abroad, and they will also offer you a really good compensation, a very good financial compensation because of that degree. So if you secure a job at a good company just after finishing your grad school, then it has a it's a there's a very high likelihood that the compensation you receive will be pretty good, and that will enable you to get a good return on your investment. That's what I would say. So, like, these are some of the advantages of pursuing a grad degree abroad. It comes with its set of benefits and drawbacks, but I would say that the benefits really outweigh the drawbacks. But yeah, if you are someone who is concerned about the financial investment, then you can always consider pursuing a graduate degree in India in one of these premier institutions, because they are also almost as good as the others. But yeah, that being said, if you feel that you are at a good financial standpoint to pursue a grad degree abroad, definitely try to get into a university whose rankings are better than the universities within India, because uh, that's a given. Of course, if you get into a university abroad, you want to get into a university which has a better ranking than the one in your own country. So that's just a side note that I would add that you should consider.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, looking back on your academic and professional journey, so what accomplishment has brought you the most personal satisfaction in NIT Hamirpur?
Right. Oh, good question. I would say that Getting into UCLA would, for till now, till date, getting into UCLA would be the personal achievement that I value the most. And really, there are a lot of reasons for that. Even before I started my undergraduate uh, journey in NIT Hamirpur, I had always wanted to get that graduate experience abroad. I did want to pursue higher studies, and I really wanted to pursue a more research oriented higher study abroad. And first landed in when I first got into NIT Hamirpur, there were a lot of challenges that I faced and that a lot of people faced. One of those challenges was because the department was relatively new. So that being a new department, we were really underrepresented at several institute level events. That was the reason why we created Team Metamorph, so that we could gain some representation on an institute level scale. But aside from that, um, there were a lot of other academic and non-academic challenges that I faced while trying to pursue this goal of getting into grad school. And having overcome those challenges, when I look back, it looks like the getting into UCLA was really a very rewarding experience. And till date, that would be something that brought me the most personal satisfaction. Um, if I can, I can talk a little bit about these challenges that we faced. One was because of the limited exposure, because with the department being relatively new, and aside from that, if the COVID-19 pandemic had taken an immense toll on all of our academic lives. I really wanted to secure a foreign internship before I start my grad school applications because, of course, that would look good on your profile. But the COVID-19 pandemic, because of that, several of these foreign institutions retracted their internship programs. So that was a big blow that I felt. Um, and even as my final year loomed closer, because of the pandemic, there were a lot of challenges we faced because several universities were not really accepting that many applications at that time. And even if they were, the teaching process would be entirely online, which I didn't really want. And at that time, you even the companies that were recruiting from the college were also lower because of the pandemic. So, considering all these challenges and having experienced these challenges and gotten there, I would very well say that getting into grad school was really a rewarding experience for me, and till date, it remains my best, a really valued financial, personal experience that I feel.
Thank you, sir. Sir, now I would like to pass the stage to my friend Sivam.
Thank you, Rohit. So now I would like to ask you a question that I think I really want to ask you. So, beside technical expertise, what personal qualities or life experiences have been valuable in your professional life? And so, for the all time sake, could you share some anecdotes from your B.tech days?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Also, yeah, very good question, Shivam. Of course, it's good to. I would say it's really good to have technical qualities, but there are qualities that transcend beyond the technical that you need to have in order to navigate through your personal and professional life. For me, I would say. Aside from technical qualities, personally, I would say that having the ability to having an ability to strike a balance between your academic and non-academic life is an essential skill that one must have. Um, if you are interested in getting into grad school, it's important to build a holistic profile. where you don't focus only on the academic side of things, but you also have something aside from academics to show to the universities. Now, this is a very good quality that I feel one must have. Try to strike a balance between your academic and non-academic life. The second thing I would say is try to have having an open mind is pretty good. Uh, don't try to limit your knowledge based on just your department alone. When you get into grad school and when you actually work, you're going to work with a lot of teams, and these teams may work on different other subjects as well. So having an open mind is very important. And if you just look at the subject of material science, we all know that material science is a heavily multidisciplinary subject. So if you're graduating in material science and you're really expected to have some knowledge of the other branches uh, that are related to material science and engineering. For example, the team that I'm working in right now is a lot of the members of the team are comprised of electrical engineers. So they have done their they have earned their graduate degrees in electrical engineering, and so it makes sense for me to have an open mind and know about some of the things that these people do, and with that I can actually share my expertise as well. So these are some of the things that you need to have. Leadership uh, abilities are really good. uh, if you can if you can lead a team, if you can lead multiple teams, and if you can manage those teams uh, appropriately, then that's really a good thing to have. And that really stresses your ability to manage multiple aspects at once. So this is also a great quality to have. But another quality that I feel is also important is having a good set of communication skills. When Because when you get into grad school, when you're working with different research groups, those research groups will have people from different nationalities and different cultures. You need to try to strike a good strike a good connection with each of these individuals, and try to understand their perspective on things. So good communication between different individuals of different cultures and nationalities, that's a very important quality to have, especially if you're thinking of considering applying to grad school. So these are a couple of things that I could highlight on, just on a surface level at least. Yeah.
Sir, can you share some of the anecdotes from your B.tech days? Like, what were the most memorable things that you did back then?
Oh, right. Yeah, I completely missed that question. Right. So if I look back at my undergrad days, we did do a lot of really good things together, and even as we were during my second year, during my sophomore year, when we were in the process of creating uh, Team Metamorph, we had a lot of memories to cherish and experience, a lot of challenges down the road, but I'm really glad that we uh, handled them all. The most important year for me at NIT Hamirpur was my final year, and the reason was, of course, because that was the year in which I graduated and when I got into UCLA. And that year was actually the most challenging for me. If I go back down to memory lane, seventh semester was especially challenging for all of us, and to me, it was a really big challenge because the COVID-19 pandemic was at its peak, and really everyone was at home, and we were trying to uh, we were trying to get into terms with how life was progressing during that time, and at the same time uh, we had to prepare for these upcoming placements. And me especially, I had the grad school applications to do, so it was really a very stressful time for all of us. And in these moments, uh, we used to support each other and try to navigate through that really stressful turmoil. But I'm really glad that it worked out for everyone in the end. I got my first offer from UC San Diego in November, which was just when the semester was about to end. And really, once I landed that offer, things started to be way more relaxing later. So um, I got my UCLA offers in March, but since I already had a previous offer, I was really able to just relax and just try to uh, just try to take lead an easier life in the remaining semester. So when semester 8, which was the final semester, came, I really was really happy initially to get the UCLA letter of acceptance. So that's when I decided that it's time to take a, a short break. I won't say a break, but just try to step a little aside from academics and try to focus on the other things that I wanted to do. In semester 8, I was working for Nimbus as the departmental club secretary, and I was also working for my institute magazine as well. So really, when it during semester 8, almost uh, I almost let go of all the academic stuff that I had been working on before, and decided to focus a lot of my attention on these two aspects of my college life. And really, the reason I wanted to do that was because I wanted to I actually enjoyed doing these things. I enjoyed managing different groups and trying to operate from a more managerial perspective. And I really wanted to take a short break from academics before I start my next journey at UCLA. So the eighth semester was really a very relaxing time for me after a really stressful semester before. So that's just one of the experiences that I liked in NITH. That small time frame where I got to do something different and something that I really like to do aside from academics, and having my full attention focused on those things before taking the next step of my journey and focusing entirely on academics. So that was a really good relaxing point in my student life. And we did a lot of things back then when everything was settled. Um, we did we did a lot of partying, and um, we really tried to experience the little moments that remained before all of us would graduate. So that was something that I really cherished a lot from my NITH days.
Thank you, sir. That was really insightful, and we are grateful for this opportunity to communicate with you. Now, I would like to pass the stage to Sareha for the vote of thanks.
So, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to you for sharing your insight and experience with us. Your guidance has enriched our understanding, the opportunity to learn from you. So, we hope that we will again get a chance to interact with you in future. We will be grateful. Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Really, it's really wonderful to get in touch back with my undergrad institution and to talk to you guys. It's really a good thing, and really I'm glad that you have invited me to speak on these topics today.